I am Khamer Sultana, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, and the topic is the concept of multiplier. I am going to explain you the concept of multiplier, its importance and how it is working. When it is working both forward as well as backward. Let us start with the introduction, multiplier. The multiplier, according to Keynes, establishes a precise relationship given the propensity to consume between aggregate employment and income and the rate of investment. It tells us that when there is an increment of investment, income will increase by an amount which is k times the increment of investment. So, let me explain you the importance of multiplier. Here we are having investment, trade cycle, savings investment equality, formulation of economic policies. When we are formulating economic policies, some of the policies such as full employment and to control trade cycles, deficit financing and public investment. Let me explain you one by one. First is investment. The multiplier theory highlights the importance of investment in income and employment theory. Since the consumption function was stable during the short-term fluctuations in income and employment or due to fluctuations in the rate of investment. When there is a fall in investment, that leads to a cumulative decline in income and employment by the multiplier process and vice versa. Thus, it underlines the importance of investment and explains the process of income propagation. So, next is trade cycle. As a corollary to the above, when there are fluctuations in the level of income and employment, when there is a fluctuations in income and employment because of due to variations in the rate of investment, the multiplier process throws a spotlight on the different phases of the trade cycle. When there is a fall in investment, income and employment will decline in a cumulative manner, leading to recession and ultimately to depression. So, on the contrary, an increase in investment leads to revival. If this process continues to a boom, thus the multiplier is regarded as an indispensable tool in trade cycles. So, next is savings investment equality. It also helps in bringing the equality between savings and investment. Suppose if there is any divergence between savings and investment, an increase in investment leads to rise in income. So, here the multiplier process by more than the increase in initial investment. As a result of the increase in income, savings will also increase, that equals investment. Here, formulation of economic policies. The multiplier is an important tool in the hands of modern states in formulating economic policies. This principle presupposes state intervention in economic affairs. Here we are having some of the policy targets such as to achieve full employment. The state, that is, decides upon the amount of investment to be injected into the economy in order to remove unemployment and to achieve full employment. So, an initial increase in investment leads to a rise in income and employment by the multiplier time the increase in investment. Suppose if there is a single dose of investment is insufficient in order to bring full employment, the state can inject regular doses of investment for this purpose till further full employment level is reached. Next is to control trade cycles. The state can control boom and depressions in a trade cycle on the basis of the multiplier effect on income and employment. When the economy is experiencing inflationary pressures, the state can control them by a reduction in investment, which leads to a cumulative decline in income and employment via the multiplier process. On the other hand, in a deflationary situation, an increase in investment can help increase the level of income and employment through the multiplier process. Next is deficit financing. The multiplier principle highlights the importance of deficit budgeting. In a state of depression, cheap money policy of lowering the rate of interest. It is not helpful because the marginal efficiency of capital is so low that a low rate of interest fails to encourage private investment. In such a situation, increase public expenditure through public investment programs by creating a budget deficit helps in increasing income and employment by multiplier time the increase in investment. And the last one is public investment. Here, the above discussion reveals the importance of the multiplier in public investment policy. Public investment refers to the state expenditure on public works and other works meant to increase public welfare. It is autonomous and is free from profit motive. It therefore applies with great force in overcoming inflationary and deflationary pressures in the economy and also in achieving and maintaining full employment. Private investment being induced by profit motive can help only when the public investment has created a favorable situation for the former. Moreover, economic activity cannot be left to the vagaries and uncertainties of private enterprise. Here, the importance of multiplier in public investment lies in creating or controlling income and employment. The state can have the greatest multiplier effect on income and employment by increasing public investment during the times of depression. While MPC is high, on the contrary, in periods of over full employment, a decline in investment will have a serious effect on the levels of income and employment, where the marginal propensity to save is high. The best policy is to reduce investment where the marginal propensity to consume is low, to have gradual decline in income and employment. Let us see the working of multiplier. Multiplier works both forward as well as backward. Let us see the forward operation. We first take the sequence analysis, which shows a motion picture of the process of income propagation. An increase in investment leads to increased production, which creates income and generates consumption expenditure. This process continues in dwindling series till no further increase in income and expenditure is possible. This is a lagless instantaneous process in a static framework as explained by Keynes. Let us explain the diagrammatical representation. The process of income propagation as a result of increase in investment is shown diagrammatically. In figure 1, the C curve has a slope of 0.5 to show the marginal propensity to consume equal to 1/2. C plus I is the investment curve which intersects the 45-degree line at E1 so that the old equilibrium level of income is OY1. Now there is an increase in investment of change in I as shown by the distance between C plus I and C plus I plus change in I curves. This curve intersects the 45-degree line at E2 to give OY2 as new income. Thus the rise in income Y1, Y2 as shown by change in Y. is twice the distance between C plus I and C plus I plus change in I. Since the marginal propensity to consume is 1/2. The same results can be obtained if marginal propensity to save is taken, so that when income increases, savings also increase to equal the new investment at a new equilibrium level of income. This is shown in figure 2. S is the saving function with a slope of 0.5 to show marginal propensity to save of 1/2. I is the old investment curve which cuts S at E1, so that OY1 is the old equilibrium level of income. The increase in investment change in I is superimposed on the change in I curve in the shape of a new investment curve I plus change in I, which is intersected by the S curve at E2 to give OY2 as the new equilibrium level of income. The rise in income Y1 minus Y2, that is shown as change in Y, is exactly double the increase in investment change in I, as the marginal propensity to save is 1/2. This is the explanation for the forward operation. Let us see the backward operation. The above analysis pertains to the forward operation of the multiplier. If, however, investment decreases instead of increasing, the multiplier operates backward. The reduction in investment will lead to contraction of income and consumption, which in turn will lead to cumulative decline in income and consumption till the contraction in aggregate income is the multiply of the initial decrease in investment. The magnitude of contraction due to the backward operation of the multiplier depends on the value of marginal propensity to consume. The higher the marginal propensity to consume, the greater is the value of multiplier, and the greater the cumulative decline in income and vice versa. On the contrary, the higher the marginal propensity to save, the lower is the value of the multiplier, and smaller the cumulative decline in income and vice versa. Thus, a community with a high propensity to consume will be hurt more by the reverse operation of the multiplier than one with a low propensity to consume, or you can say, or high propensity to save. Diagrammatical explanation. The reverse operation can also be explained in terms of figure 1 and 2. Let us take the figure 1. When investment decreases, the investment function C plus I plus change in I shift downward to C plus I. As a result, the equilibrium level also shifts from E2 to E1, and income declines from OY2 to OY1. The marginal propensity to consume being 0.5, the fall in income Y2 Y1 is exactly double the decline in investment as shown by the distance between C plus I plus change in I and C plus I. Similarly, in figure 2, when investment falls, the investment function I plus change in I shift downward as I curve, and income decreases from OY2 to OY1. The marginal propensity to save being 0.5, the decrease in income, that is, here it is explained as Y2 Y1, is double the decline in investment as measured by the distance between I plus change in I and I curve. Some of the assumptions related to the working of a multiplier here is there is change in autonomous investment, the marginal propensity to consume is constant, and consumption is a function of current income. There is net increase in investment, there is surplus capacity in consumer goods industries, there is an industrialized economy in which the multiplier process operates, there is a closed economy unaffected by foreign influences, and there are no changes in prices. There is less than full employment level in the economy. Thank you.